Hello, welcome to a new video class. Here I am going to discuss the topic uh, protein and enzyme engineering. We know that proteins are made up of amino acids, and that amino acids are linked with the help of peptide bond and forms a linear chain of amino acids that is called primary protein. And that primary proteins are then fold into secondary and tertiary structure with the help of covalent bond, ionic bond, hydrogen bond, van der Waals force, etc. So finally, the tertiary and quaternary proteins are considered as the functional protein, and that functional proteins performs many biological activities, or they can mediate various kind of biological research, biological reaction. That is why we can say that most of the proteins act as the best enzyme. So here we are going to study the topic protein and enzyme engineering. So first of all, we need to study what is protein or enzyme engineering. So simply, it is a process of modifying a protein or an enzyme for various research activities, or we can say the process of modifying a protein or enzyme in order to perform various kind of researches, or in order to or we can say that for the better of human life. So that is about protein engineering or enzyme engineering. Next, we need to study what is the relevance of this protein or enzyme engineering. Simply to produce or to perform various kind of activities, or to produce various kind of product which are useful to human being. That is the relevance of protein or enzyme engineering. Next, we need to know how this protein engineering can, or how we can able to modify, or how we can perform this protein or enzyme engineering. So when we move into that topic, we can say that it can be done by using several methods. We can modify the protein or enzyme by using different methods. Here we are going to discuss few methods used for protein engineering or enzyme engineering. Among these, one is called site-directed mutagenesis. We know that what is mutation. So here it is a site-directed mutagenesis. It simply means we are trying to create a mutation within the specific region or within the specific site on DNA. So the mutation on a specific site within the DNA or within the gene leads to the change in the protein structure and protein function. So that change will leads to the production or creation of a new enzyme or protein. So in this technology, we are intentionally giving a mutation into a specific location or a specific region within the gene, so that we will get a modified protein or modified enzyme. So that is about site-directed mutagenesis. It is an intentionally mutation. It's an intentional mutation. We are giving a mutation intentionally to a particular point or particular region within the gene in order to create, or in order to modify a particular enzyme, or in order to create a particular enzyme with a desirable quality or desirable function. That is about site-directed mutagenesis. So here our aim, here we have two aim for this intentional mutation or site-directed mutation into a particular point on the DNA. So our aim is to engineer or to create a new enzyme or protein with a desirable function. And second one is to examine the mutation effect. Second function is what happened. So our second aim is what happened when we give a site-directed mutation to a particular region on a specific gene. So in order to study that function, we can use this kind of site-directed mutagenesis. And second method of protein and enzyme engineering is directed protein evolution. Directed protein evolution. We know that proteins are made up of numerous amino acids and which are linked together by peptide bond, and that is about primary protein. Then it is folded into secondary, alpha helix, beta plate, tertiary, quaternary structure, etc. So it's a complex structure. So when we give a mutation, when we give an insertion mutation or deletion mutation or base substitution mutation, all those mutations cannot able to examine or cannot able to examine properly because it is a complex structure. So the main relevance of this method, directed protein evolution, is that we cannot able to observe, we cannot able to find out the mutation in proteins due to its complex structure. So, but we can able to observe the mutation. We can able to observe the mutation by using this method, directed protein evolution mechanism. Suppose if he gives a mutation into any kind of protein within the plant, by culturing that plant, we can observe what changes will occur within this plant. So the relevance is that in case of directed protein evolution mechanism, we can able to create mutation, we can able to induce mutation, therefore or thereby we can make lot of, or we can make diverse protein from a single protein. If we use different kinds of mutation into a particular protein, that create different kind of protein, that is diverse protein. And by observing such kind of diverse protein, by observing the function of such kind of diverse protein in an organism, we can able to find out its function. So that is about directed protein evolution. So in directed protein evolution, first of all, we need to create sequence diversification. That is, we are creating diverse or different form of a protein by inducing mutation. Suppose if it is a protein, if I am giving different kinds of mutation in this protein, we can able to create different kinds of or diverse protein from this original protein. So by observing all those diverse protein, or by observing the function of all those diverse protein within the biological organism, we can able to find out which diverse protein is our desired protein. So that process is called screening. So in directed protein evolution, we are giving mutation into a particular protein or enzyme. Thereby, we create different form of protein and enzyme of this original protein. And after that, we need to screen or we need to observe and find out which diverse protein is our desired protein. So that is called screening. This mechanism is used in the direct protein evolution mechanism. So in the first stage, in the first step of directed protein evolution, that is sequence diversification, we can create diverse or different form of a particular protein or enzyme by inducing mutation. That mutation can be induced by error-prone PCR mechanism. In normal PCR mechanism, we are using normal PCR are commonly used for the amplification of a particular gene. But it is an error-prone PCR. In this PCR, we are not producing multiple copies of a same gene. But here we are creating diverse form of a particular gene by inducing error with the help of an RNA polymerase. That RNA polymerase create errors in DNA during the amplification, that is especially during the elongation process of during the primer annealing extension. We know that PCR contain denaturation, primer annealing, extension, amplification. So during that process, extension process is mainly carried out by DNA dependent DNA polymerase. So here we are depending DNA dependent DNA polymerase to create error. Thereby we can get dissimilar form of numerous gene instead of getting identical copies. So it is about error prone PCR. Like that we can use chimerization technique. Chimerization technique. It is in chimerization technique we are combining together. We are combining two proteins having similar structure, but they are coming from different organisms. That is in chimerization we can combine two proteins in order to create or in order to modify or in order to create a new protein or enzyme. That is called chimerization. And third one is called random mutagenesis. That is we are giving random mutation with the help of different kinds of mutating agent like physical mutagens like X-ray, UV ray, gamma ray, like chemical mutagen, EMS, ethyl methyl sulfate, MMS, methyl methyl sulfate, like that. So after that mutation we will get different kinds or diversified or diverse proteins. So after that we need to screen all those diverse protein to check which one is our desired protein. So that process is called screening. It can be done by using different method. One is called in vitro method and second one is called in vivo method. In vitro method we are carrying the screening process within the living organism, especially it's a heterologous gene expression, especially we can depend Escherichia coli yeast cell. We can use an external agent like yeast, E. coli bacteria to express and find out the screening process, to express and carry out the screening process with the help of E. coli, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, like that yeast. Whereas in case of in vivo, we are carried out the screening process in its natural environment, that is called in vivo, whereas in vitro is carried out by in an external environment, that is we are producing that we are first of all we are depending an organism like E. coli, yeast, bacteria. After that we can use different kinds of assay technique to check whether the gene product or that is protein or enzymes are the desired is it desired or not by using different kinds of assay like colorimetry. We can depend colorimetry to assay its function and its structure, etc. Whereas in case we are not using such kind of colorimetric device, instead of we are observing that modified gene product, that is protein or enzyme, in its natural environment. That is the difference between in vitro and in vivo screening. Okay, that's all about protein and enzyme engineering. In simple terms, we can say it's a modification of proteins and enzyme in order to perform various kind of biological activity and in order to produce various kind of biological product which are useful to human being. That's all.